One of the most important factors which defines our identity and who we are is our nationality. It shapes our personality based on where we come from, how we grew up, and what values were taught to us by society. And the thought that some authority or state might be able to take that away from us is actually quite scary. But is this even possible? I will try to answer this question for you as best as I can in this video. To start this, let's make a few important statements first. In a state of law, the nationality that you were given when you were born can never be taken away from you if it is the only one that you have. It is your birthright, so to say. If you are American, for instance, and you will never become a citizen of any other country, you will always keep your American citizenship. It can and will not be taken away from you because you always need to be a citizen of at least one country. However, there are a few situations in which you can lose your nationality and/or your citizenship. The first one is if you decide to give up your current nationality to receive another one. Some countries, like Austria for instance, do not allow their citizens to have dual or multiple citizenship. This can mean the following, for instance. If you have been an Austrian citizen who has been living abroad for many years, or maybe even for your entire life, you cannot become a citizen of the country in which you have been living all those years unless you decide to give up your Austrian citizenship at the same time. But the important thing to point out here is, even in a situation like this, Austrian authorities cannot and will not force you to give up your birth citizenship. Instead, you would have to choose to do so yourself. But there are some scenarios in which your nationality can be revoked if and only if you have at least one other nationality, and only under very specific circumstances. We are going to look at what these are in just a second. But just before that, a quick note here. This video is based on legal regulations in Switzerland, but there are similar regulations in many other countries as well. With this being said, the decisive factor why Swiss citizenship or the Swiss nationality can be revoked is that false information was provided by the applicant at the time of the acquisition of the citizenship. In fact, Swiss law states the following. A naturalization decision may be declared null and void if it has been obtained by using false information or by concealing material facts. The naturalization decision may be declared null and void within 2 years of the competent authority becoming aware of the legally relevant circumstances, and at the latest within 8 years of the naturalized person acquiring Swiss citizenship. Okay, so far so good, but what does this mean? Will your citizenship be revoked if you didn't declare your weight and size correctly? Or what if you said that your salary is lower than it actually is? And what if you didn't mention a traffic law violation that you committed abroad years ago? In order for your citizenship or for your nationality to be revoked, the following important aspect has to be considered. The false information that was given to the authorities must be relevant to the decision of whether or not somebody would have received a nationality or citizenship in the first place. So let's look at some of the questions I asked before. Lying about your weight and size would definitely be completely irrelevant to the decision of whether or not you will obtain a new citizenship and/or a new nationality. The same is the case if you lied about your salary. You might get an extra tax bill and maybe even a fee on top of that, but in most cases a salary is not decisive for obtaining a nationality. It is therefore not considered relevant information that has been concealed. But then what is such false information or concealing material facts that can result in somebody's nationality being revoked? Well, there are in fact mainly two types of cases in which false information was provided and the citizenship or nationality was revoked afterwards. The first category is if somebody was lying about crimes that he or she committed abroad. But in order for your freshly obtained citizenship or nationality to be revoked, the crime that was committed and concealed must be of a certain importance. If it was a small traffic violation that was committed years ago, and maybe even by accident, that will certainly not cause any bigger issues. On the other hand, if the competent authorities learn that a crime has been committed that can potentially put a country's internal and/or external security at risk, that can lead to the withdrawal of somebody's nationality or citizenship that has been granted to him or her before. The second category of cases in which a nationality can be revoked based on false information that has been provided is a fake or pretended marriage. That's the case if you marry somebody just for the papers and end the relationship shortly after your naturalization or after a long-time residence permit has been issued to you. This kind of behavior is considered an abuse of the law, and therefore the nationality, citizenship, or the long-term residence permit that was issued before will be revoked. As we saw now, only false information of a certain importance will lead to a nationality that has been granted beforehand to be revoked. But there are other issues that can appear if you provide false information to a migration law authority at an earlier stage during the naturalization process. Therefore, if you are still in the process of obtaining a foreign nationality or a foreign long-term residence permit, it is highly recommended to never make any false statements to the competent authority. Because in a situation like that, it is very likely that the competent authority might do some sort of background check on you. You, on the other hand, will also be asked to hand in a ton of information about yourself. And if this doesn't add up, and it turns out that you weren't speaking the truth during the entire process, you risk that the outcome might be negative. Your chances to obtain the desired citizenship or nationality will then be a lot worse. Therefore, if you have concerns when it comes to the application for a foreign nationality, or if you feel like you need help with it, it is definitely a better approach to look for legal support beforehand and make sure that the process is initiated correctly from the beginning. And with this, we're getting to the end of today's video, but let me know if you have any remaining questions in the comment section down below. Other than that, leave this video a thumbs up if you were able to learn something from it. If you want to see more in the future, subscribe to the channel. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to be talking to you again soon.